Hello everyone, how are you tonight? This is Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I've been with Stampin' Up! For almost 10 years. I am excited to be with you guys tonight to share with you a really fun fold that I learned and also a new stamp set, the Cottage Rose Stamp set along with the Cottage Flowers dies. I think you're going to really like this. I've got a fabulous fold that I want to share with you. And again, hi Karen, thanks for joining in. Apologize again for not being live last night. You know that I'm part of that community emergency response team. If you've been following me, you've heard me share bits and pieces of that. And last night we actually had a mock scenario training and I knew about it because I was part of the planning committee and I still forgot to post something on my Facebook page. I try not to put stuff out there too much when I'm not going to be around the house. And I just completely forgot last night until it was about 9 o'clock. We were debriefing from the search. And I'm so sorry. I will try very hard not to have that happen again. But that's where I was last night. Fortunately, our call out was for a mock scenario and not having to actually find a real person. Although we've been called out for that as well. We actually had a gorgeous night, had a fair number of people turn out, but we were running up against darkness and that changed a little bit how we were doing things. But anyhow, enough about that. It was a great experience. And again, I apologize for not letting you guys know ahead of time. And I appreciate that you're stepping in to watch now as I'm going through with my live video here. So anyhow, hope everybody had a great week. We actually, my husband and I took last Friday off as well because we got to babysit Cece. So we had her all day Friday and then overnight to Saturday afternoon. And that was a lot of fun. This time it was just Cece and not the puppy, which made it a little bit easier as well in terms of how tired we were when we were done with that. We did get a chance to bring Cece up to see her great grandma and a great uncle, so that was fun. She was a little scared at first because she hasn't seen him for a while, and she's at that age where she kind of tears up if there's strangers in the room. But we got through that, had a great time with her. It was really fun just to spend time with her. And then Saturday morning, she and I got up and I finished it's my fourth or fifth, I can't keep track, marathon. And Cece finished her first marathon. I pushed her in her stroller this year. So I was feeling pretty accomplished. I do need to share, however, that this marathon is a fundraiser for our local food shelf. So it was only a block long. And I challenged myself by pushing Cece this year. Usually I just run it. And they do have a water stop halfway through. So it's a lot of fun. It's just a good group of people that get together, raise funds for the local food shelf. And they have, ahead of time, we can get free, you get coupons for some White Castle burgers. And then halfway through, like I said, they've got the water break. And then afterwards, they have little donuts. Hi, Anita. Donut holes and some ice cream. I think we didn't stick around for that. We ended up going home. But anyhow, it's a good time. It's a good cause. And I can say I have finished a marathon. So that's the only kind I can finish, I think. But it was fun. And then just kind of worked around the house. I am super tired tonight, even though it's only Tuesday. My company's been going through a lot of changes. Assets, including employees, were acquired by another company back in April. And we knew that eventually we'd be moving. And I've spent the last 3 weeks, getting our office packed up, shredding years worth of documents, figuring out what we're going to do with a bunch of different things. And today was the actual move into the office space with the company that acquired us. So it's been a lot of hard work. It's also been really stressful. And I still have a few boxes left to unpack, but I think by tomorrow midday I should be kind of back to functioning and hopefully things will start to settle down a little bit now. So anyhow, that's been kind of my week. Again, I hope everybody had a great week. And why don't I flip my camera around and we'll go ahead and get started on this card. My work area is a bit of a mess, so just beware, but I will get you flipped around here just a moment. This is always the hardest part for me. All right, get you up here. I'm hoping I have my camera stand pretty well placed. I don't know. I'll take a look at it. And it was kind of a funny story. I've been working on kind of updating my logo and graphics as my business has changed a little bit. And I've been feeling pretty proud of myself for where I've been and just getting things done. And then I looked down the last time I was live and realized that I still had my old logo and didn't have some of my social media sites updated yet. And so I did get that part taken care of too. So hopefully you have a chance now. You can see what my logo looks like. I've simplified it a little bit. I'm really crooked on my camera and it's going to drive me insane. I'm just so tired tonight that little things like that are getting to me. Okay, I'm going to jiggle one more time because I also need to plug my phone in. All right, anyhow, so here's my new logo, and I got it on this sheet, and I did add all of my social media sites. So if you want to take a quick screenshot of this in case you want to go look at other things, I do have a YouTube channel. Primarily what I put out there is replays of these videos, and then I do have a blog site. I'm working on getting that developed. But I do blog hops on that, and I am going to try to be a little bit more active on there. It just takes time, and so I'm trying to figure out how to best budget my time to get some of these pieces going. And then, of course, you know about my Carol's Creative Escape page, and if you're watching this video, you're watching it through the Gathering Place. And then I also have an Instagram account. Again, there, I'm trying to figure out all this Reels business. Little by little, I'll get there, but there is some stuff showing up out there. So anyhow, enough about Carol. I'll get rid of that sheet. And what I want to share with you tonight is a fun fold, and I'm going to give you a tip about some of the things that I've been doing. So I'm going to encourage you to get a piece of paper and pencil so that you can make notes as I'm going through and maybe adapt kind of a similar thing to what I'm doing here. So the paper we're going to work with tonight is it's the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper. And this is just very neutral paper on one side. Lots of floral images. It uses early espresso and very vanilla. But it also has, I just want to make sure, this kind of looks Whisper White, but I think you can go either way with it. And then, of course, we've got some with just the basic black. And then this is the gray. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right. Smoky Slate is the gray that's in here. And so there's just some kind of all over florally type designs that you could color in. This one is actually got more of a background to it. With the early espresso. So we've got a couple very vanillas. This is kind of more of I think a gray granite background. And you might get by with a little bit of white, depending on what you've got available. And then the flip side has a little bit more pattern. Again, we've got just an all over gray granite here. And then early espresso with crumb cake. And again, we're looking at the gray granite with very vanilla. And I think the flower in there is crumb cake. Early espresso outlined on crumb cake. And then this piece is just like an old ledger column. Petal Pink is the pink tone in here. If you've watched my videos, I'm not a huge fan of Petal Pink because I think it's more of it's less pink to me and more corally tone. And I don't think the pink always picks up. So I am using this actually with Poppy Parade tonight. So we'll see what you think of that. So anyhow, that is the Designer Series paper. And then the stamp set is the Cottage Rose Stamp set. And these have a lot of the detail in the stamps, so they're great ones for using your blends on, because it kind of already gives you the darker shade spots on this. And then it's got just some best wishes. It's going to be fab. Happy birthday. You're positively the greatest. Friends forever. Feel better soon. And that's the one that I used tonight in my card. And then there are the dies. And it looks like mine slipped a little bit. These are the cottage flowers. And I used this die tonight, which cuts out this image. And then there are 10 dies total in here, and this, it cuts out a few of them. For sure I know this one, and then there is a die that cuts out this little one, and I believe this die is going to fit possibly to just do this flower. I haven't actually tried it yet. And then some of the leaves you may also be able to cut out. So just some different stamps or different dies. I should have tested the dies before I said what it could or couldn't do, but I'm pretty sure you might, yeah, it's not going to be quite a match. So I'm taking back what I said about what those dies will cut out. Just pretend I didn't say it. But I think you can do an awful lot with the die set. I will give you some examples and post them in the comments so that you can see those, because I failed to do a very good job of it right here. But very pretty. And I am using this paper tonight because it's not often we have very vanilla paper that works with a lot of our designer series paper. So that's kind of fun. So I'm going to get my scoring tool out here because the card that I'm making does have folds. Now, one of the things that I'm trying to do, I really enjoy doing fun fold cards, but I have a hard time sometimes figuring them out, and I hate it when I waste my good designer paper on the cards. And so I stumbled across a video actually over the weekend by Jackie Bullheis, and she's another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And one of the things she encourages you to do is to take your scrap papers, maybe it's for me as a demonstrator anyhow, some of my retired papers, and create templates. And so that's what I've done. The papers don't match. I just grabbed a stack of designer series paper and a stack of my cardstock that had retired, the colors had retired. So I'm not using it as part of my business, but I created templates for the cards. And so this is the card that we're going to make tonight. It's a fun, kind of a fun little fold. It does stand up all on its own. And it's a great way to use up your designer series paper and maybe some different cardstock. And so basically what I've done is create the base of the card with my measurements written down. And then you put message on the back with your cardstock. And I figured out partway through I don't need to waste my Very Vanilla or Whisper White for these card bases that I'm creating. I'm using retired cardstock for that as well, and just making a note that it could be Very Vanilla or Whisper White. That way I'm not wasting stuff I can use, if that makes sense. I have actually created, I think it's a total of 17 templates now. And it really makes it easy because if I want to do a fun fold, I don't have to take time trying to figure out what the fold is or remembering where it was. I can just pull this out of a shoebox and create the card. So you may find that tip helpful too. It's kind of a game changer for me. So I made a card with regular cardstock that's currently available for everyone. And I thought I'm going to try sort of monotone, and it kind of went blech when I saw it. Just a little bit too blah for me. So I had to go a little bit brighter with the card that we're going to do tonight. And as part of that, I wanted to show you how to actually score this card too. So the measurements for the card, you're going to start, I'm going to move this out of the way again, with a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 9 3/8. It is not uncommon to have kind of unusual bases sometimes with fun fold cards. That's just the nature of the beast. So cardstock number 2 is Crumb Cake, and that is 5 1/8 by 3 1/2. And then you need to have a couple pieces of my cardstock and designer paper all ran away on me. A couple pieces of designer series paper. You have one piece that measures 3 3/4 by 4, and then I have a second piece that measures 1 1/4 by 4. And then you'll want a piece, in this case I'm using Very Vanilla. This will be on the back of my card, so that's where I can write whatever I want to the recipient. And then the decor piece, in terms of the front of the card, kind of this piece, you can do whatever you want. You don't really want it a whole lot. You're limited in size to, creating a layer here that's going to be 3 1/2 by 3 1/4, because that's kind of the base that you have to work with. But how you build that layer, what you put on it, is completely up to you. And so today I'm doing something, oh dear, I wonder what that was. Okay, we're going to use this side of my card, aren't we? So today I used a piece of Old Olive, and again this measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I ran it through the stitched greenery die just to add a little bit of detail. And then I needed to pop my design up just a teeny bit, so I'm adding a second layer of Very Vanilla, and this one measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/2, and it just, I'll show you why I did that as we're assembling the card. And then I did, because I want to focus on how to make this card and not spending as much time tonight doing the stamping and the coloring, but I used the Cottage Rose Stamp, and then I used my Poppy Parade, that's actually Mango Melody, yeah, I was right. I thought I was grabbing crushed curry, but I didn't, obviously. So we got a little bit of orange, but you know what, that works okay because it kind of pulls in this Petal Peak, which has sort of an orange tone. And then I used Old Olive, and I used pumpkin pie just to decorate my flowers a little bit more. And so when I put it on here, it just didn't pop quite enough for me, and so that's why I've added this piece of Very Vanilla, because I think it helps it stand out a little bit on the Old Olive. Again, this piece you can design however you want. I used the Stitched Shapes dies and the Feel Better Real Soon stamp from the Cottage Rose, and stamped the ink in Poppy Parade. And then I've got a little Old Olive ribbon. And this is, I showed this combo pack I think a week or 2 ago as well on the ribbon. It comes with a linen as well as this Old Olive, and it is on page 145 of the annual catalog. So you get the Old Olive, and it's a Sahara Sand kind of twill type ribbon. Ties bows really nicely for whatever that is worth. And then the Cottage Rose Stamp set, that is actually part of a suite that is in the catalog, and it is on page 57 of the catalog. And so it includes the stamp set, the dies, the designer series paper, and then there's this very pretty ribbon. This was actually more than my card could handle, in my opinion, so I did not use the ribbon tonight, but this is a really wide ribbon, and I haven't tried stamping on it. We can do that real quick if you would like, just so we can see how well that goes, and then we're going to get on to the card here. But as long as they're showing that in the catalog, let's see what we can do. I'm just going to grab the same leaves that they used, peel it out of the case, get it on a stamp. We'll do a little Old Olive. yes, you can stamp on it. So you could kind of create your own custom ribbon by doing that. So now we know the answer. So now I'm going to have to make a card where I can use some of the ribbon that we can customize a little bit. I wasn't aware that you could do that. Anyhow, great suite of products. Let's get started on our card. There's a little bit of scoring that needs to happen. Oh, my cardstock already has a score line in it. I don't want that. Good thing I have it nearby and I have my cutter handy. Sometimes when I have big pieces left, I will try to reuse them again for a card, but that score line is not going to be in the right place. So 4 1/4. My bow got caught there. By 9 3/8. So we'll just run it out there and we'll make a cut. And then the score lines for this piece will fall at 3/8 of an inch. And I find with my particular cutter here, it is easier to do the 3/8 of an inch on the right side of the gutter. And then I'm just going to flip my card around because I want everything going, starting from the left side and working my way up. The next score line is at 1 3/8. And then the next one is at 2 7/8. And the final one is at 3 7/8. So clearly this is the card base, and what we're creating is this piece of the card on this one. Okay, on the crumb cake, we are going to take that piece, which again measures 5 1/8 by 3 1/2 inches. And again on this one, we're scoring at 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm just going to flip it around because I want everything going left to right. And we'll score it at 1 3/8 of an inch. That is it for our scoring. All right. And then whenever I'm doing fun folds, I find for me, I prefer to use tear and tape when I'm creating those kind of box type things. So I've got a nearly empty roll here that we're going to use. And the first thing that we want to do is start folding over on our score lines. So you're going to want to have a bone folder handy. And I'm just going to start folding and burnishing from the edge here. Going to go like that, and so this is going to fold up and go into place like this. So I want to put my tear and tape actually on the outside of that little piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll set that aside, and I'm going to repeat on this piece of crumb cake, again folding along those 2 score lines. And this piece is the one that goes on top here. So again, I need to put a little bit of tear and tape along that stretch. And don't look at my fingernails. Oh my goodness, they took such a beating with all of the packing and everything. They're just awful. I'll try to get that taken care of this weekend. They were looking so nice, and I broke all of them, and blah. Been a long couple weeks. All right, So to start with, we want to put this piece here, and you want it to be square. And so what I am going to do is, and I got to work this through my head to make sure I get it right. Because if I fold it, if I put it here, just give me a moment. Okay, I'm not even going to try to confuse you with what I think I was trying to do. I am just going to simply peel off the back of my tear and tape. Got a little bit of paper stuck there. And I am going to stand this up on end to make sure I've got a good square going. And then I'm just going to, oh, that end stuck out funny. Put it down. I think I've got a pretty good one there. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and kind of run it on the inside there along that tape. And this card is going to fold flat when it's all done. So it's going to fit in a standard size envelope without an issue. It's going to be a little bit thicker, so you may end up paying some extra postage on it. But it will slide right into a standard envelope. So that's nice too. I got tape stuck on my fingertip. Okay, and then this piece is the one that sits up here like this. So what I'm going to do to make sure I get it in the right place is I'm actually going to peel off my tape, and I'm going to kind of set it out so I can see what it's going to look like. And I want it pretty much centered with equal amounts from that score line in the edge. And so I've got it laid flat here right now, and I'm just going to press it down, and then when it opens, it'll open, and I still, oh crud, we don't want to put that down yet. No big deal. No big deal. We need to put our designer series paper on first. Whew, glad I caught that. And this one, the writing is really faint, but this is the correct direction that it goes in. So let me grab my seal. You may hear my dog start to bark here. He's got his ball with him right now and thinks that now is a good playtime. Hopefully I can hold him off until I'm done. All right, so then this piece just gets centered right in here. Then I can come in with this piece, centering it over there and pressing it down. And that gives you this effect. So you can see your designer series paper here. And then all I need to do is just run a little bit of seal along the edge. And with it folded here, I can press it down. And now I've got that whole fun fold piece created. Super easy to do, as long as you remember to do it all in the right steps. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is build my layer in the front here. And so again, I've got this old olive piece of paper that measures 3 3/4 by 4. And this could be designer series paper. Oh, Carol goofed again. Good grief. I told you I'm really tired. This moving has just kicked me to the curb. Good thing I could peel that tape off. No harm. We're going to add this other strip of designer series paper, which is 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to put it right here. Then, with that folded over and that folded down, we're going to add it back to the front of the card. Sorry about that. Okay. Now we've got it. I don't know what my problem was with the designer series paper today. Then we're going to take our piece of old olive, and I'm just going to put adhesive on the back of that. He's throwing his ball in one of my stamping bags down here, which he knows he's not supposed to do. So he knows I'm going to grab it. I just don't want him nosing around in there, getting stuff wet. All right, so we're going to put that here. And then, again, I just didn't think this flower popped enough. I kind of thought it got washed out with that green. So I am also adding a little piece of the Very Vanilla cardstock to the front. Remember, light touch, check mark, and you won't have to keep starting that. And I'm centering that so it's still framed. This way you can still see the pretty stitch marks from the die. But it also is going to allow my flower here to pop up. I've put it on dimensionals. Because this card's already going to be thicker to mail, so I figured, what's the few dimensionals? That's not going to hurt anything. And again, I just colored this with my Poppy Parade, Old Olive, and Pumpkin Pie blends. And then I've got this little tag here that I think I'm going to put down in that corner. And because this is popped up on dimensionals, I'm also going to have to pop this piece up on dimensionals. I may be able to get by actually with just doing it on this side, and then I'm going to run a little strip of adhesive because it's already going up. Oh, come on, you can do it. There we go. It's already going to be up on the raised part of the flower. So the one dimensional on this end will just bring it in alignment with it. And then I also created this cute little old olive bow. So I'm just going to take a glue dot and put that on the back and add just a little bow just to finish the card off. And then the last step is on the back side. I'm going to stamp, or I'm going to adhere this, but I'm going to, as long as I've got my leaves out, I'm going to add a little bit of the leaves in Old Olive as well, because why not? I've already ruined the back side. So we're just going to grab the Old Olive ink. Let me stamp up the leaves. That way there's a little bit of decor on the back side as well. Oh, I'll just put it right there. Okay, so now that's dressed up just a teeny bit. Since it shows so much, I think it is a nice touch. I'll get rid of that so I don't get ink on it. And I'm going to add a little bit of, I am not pressing down lightly, which is why I'm having that issue with my seal. So just do as I say, not as I'm doing, I guess. Okay, so now I've got that. I'm just going to press it down a little bit this way. And so now we have a finished fun fold. So we've got a space to write on the back side that we've decorated. And then on the front side, we've got this pretty, I think it's a very pretty flower, and it works so well for coloring with the blends. I can lift it up just a little bit so you can see it, maybe some of the detail a little bit closer in the camera. And then whoever receives this beautiful card is going to be able to stand it up and actually have it. I know it doesn't look so great looking straight down on it, but whoever receives it is going to be able to display it on a countertop or something and share the card with everyone. So that makes it kind of fun. So here is my fresh freesia version of that card. And then this is a brighter version of it with the Poppy Parade and Old Olive color combination. And again, go back, listen to my video, create your own templates. So then when you want to recreate this card, you're going to have all of your measurements that you need. Makes it a whole lot easier. Like I said, I always find these fun folds. I've got a few more that I've made up, and I've got them in a box. So I'm sure you're going to see these in future videos. But it makes it easy to recreate and share with you as well when I've got those samples. So I'm really glad. It was a happy stumble that I took when I found those videos online. So there are your cards. I appreciate everybody for joining me a night late. Hi, Jody. Thanks for joining us. And sorry again for not communicating better last night. I will try not to have that happen again. And then I will see everybody next week. I have a much calmer week now in front of me. So I should be in way better shape to go live next Monday. And I will see everybody later. Thanks again for watching. Have a great week. Bye-bye.